Look, got the dogs with me. Ella and Princess are with me. It's a bit windy, so my hair might go all over the place. I thought I'd take you guys on a walk with me. I can't do enough. I'm a bit stuck at the moment because when the kids are home, they're just very noisy and climbing over me. So I thought I'd just do a live while I'm on the walk. I wanted to do a follow-on from, we've been talking about Elvis and the sort of names that people call him. They say that he's fat, he's a pedo, he was a drug addict, and that he was selfish and that he treated Priscilla really bad. They talk about Elvis as if he was... It's all right, mate. They talk about Elvis as if he was this really horrible fat bloke that shagged around, that didn't give a shit about anyone. Sorry about my language. The way they talk about the way he ate, saying that he ate. Hi Maxine, I'm just walking the dogs. They talk about him in very vulgar terms. Very vulgar terms. Everything you can think of that you can say bad about someone, this is how the public, the general public, talk about the man we adore. Now we're here on this channel. We're here on this channel to defend Elvis. We're going to stick up for Elvis. We're going to disagree with all these things that are being said about him. Horrible things that you wouldn't say about your worst enemy. And I know Elvis isn't alive and he's not here to defend himself. But we are here, guys. Collectively, on this channel, we are here to defend Elvis. We're not just going to sit back and let people paint Elvis to be this person that he just wasn't. We know how magnificent Elvis was. And I'm not trying to whitewash Elvis and say that he was this perfect angel. This is not what I'm trying to do. But what I am trying to do is get the truth out so that we can talk about the things that Elvis did do in his life that were amazing. And this myth that Elvis made himself ill because of the way he ate food. This bullshit that he ate burgers all the time and peanut butter and banana and sandwiches constantly. It's just ridiculous. And the fact that people believe it is rubbish. Yes, he likes southern food. Well, there's nothing wrong with southern food. Southern food is full of nourishment. It has a lot of meat in it, plenty of vegetables in it. So it wasn't southern food that made Elvis, when he got into his 40s, become very unwell. It was the fact that he was so unwell. He had some very serious medical conditions. He had a twisted colon, but not just that. He had IBS problems. You look it up, IBS, IBD. He had serious problems. He had a swollen heart. He had difficulty breathing. He had glaucoma in his eyes, which was very, very painful. He had arthritis. Elvis had many, many conditions that they say were caused by his genetics. Something to do with his mother and his mother's parents being first cousins. So Elvis, if you look at Elvis's life from when he was a young boy in Tupelo, Mississippi Tupelo, right up until his late 30s, he was very slim. He looked very well. I would never say that Elvis looked unwell. You watch all his movies through the 60s. He didn't look ill at all. He looked fine. He looked full of energy. I would say he looked really healthy. Well, you think about it. Let me just lower my arm because my arm's aching. Right. Sorry, guys. Just let my arm get its blood back. But you think about it, guys. I did a video today, a live stream, all about his movies. And we got up to, I think, 1965, I think we got to. Which was great fun, by the way, guys. You go back and watch that. We've done a few about the movies now, and it's great fun. We all chat together and we love it, and it brings back all these great memories that we had watching these Elvis films when we were kids in the 60s and 70s. But anyway, my point I'm trying to make is, you didn't watch all these films. Bearing in mind, the last film he made, actual film, yeah, not the concert, not the tour. The last film Elvis made was 1969. Yeah? I'm trying to remember the name of it. You tell me, guys. Let me just put my arm down because my arm's aching because I'm raising this phone up in the air. But Elvis didn't look unwell in 1969. Bearing in mind, this was 8 years before he died. Even the two documentary style films that were made, he doesn't look unwell. He looks fine. He looks perfectly fine. He's obese. He's not binging on burgers and popping his head full of drugs. It's not what Elvis is doing. He's very, very clear-minded. He's getting on with his performance, his rehearsals. He completes these films as best to his ability. He does a good job making his films through the 60s. And remember, some years he made 3 movies a year. Well, how can you make 3 movies a year if you're very unwell? Now, I do believe that in his late 30s and early 40s, the illnesses that Elvis had become quite unbearable. He had some serious constipation as well. And he had many unbearable pains. Elvis felt that his body was letting him down because Elvis wanted to get on with business. But then he was being advised. Just put my arm down again. Sorry about that. So then Elvis is being advised by his doctors that he needs these different medications. So what are you going to do if your doctor says to you, you've got high blood pressure, you need to take these pills? You've got a twisted colon, you need these pills. What are you going to say if your doctor gives you some weird steroids, enemas, to try and sort out the constipation? Because the constipation caused Elvis a lot of bother, and for Elvis it was very embarrassing. These different medications that he was taking. So you think about it, you go through all these different illnesses. Guys, look up the book Destined to Die Young, because it's on there. And there's many YouTube videos explaining all the different illnesses that Elvis had to deal with in his late 30s and early 40s. And a big part of the fact that he was so unwell is that his stomach was inflamed and distended. So Elvis's stomach would get very large, but his body would stay slim. If you look at Elvis, so let me just, if you was in March 1970, when he's on holiday, I think with Ginger Oldham, and I think maybe Larry Geller and a few others. He's not fat. Don't forget, this is the last year of his life. He's 42. He's not fat at all. You look it up. Look for pictures. Go on Google and look up these pictures. Elvis is not fat. His arms are slim. His legs are slim. His shoulders are slim. His face is slightly puffy. This is because of the medication he was on. Don't forget, he was on 43 pills a day. Sorry guys, it's proper aching my arm, this is. I need to get one of those tripods that lift your arm in the air, innit? So, I mean, lift your phone in the air. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say, guys, is you think about it. Your doctor comes up to you and says to you, you need these different medications. Well, you ain't going to say no to him, are you? You're very unwell, you're in pain, you can't sleep, you have insomnia, your stomach is in pain, you've got serious constipation, you've got high blood pressure. And I think there's many other illnesses as well that Elvis had that he had to live with and deal with. And he has to do all this and go out there and perform in front of tens of thousands of people to sell out concerts, out tours. He has to look happy and pain-free. So of course, Elvis took many tablets, pills, to try and ease the pain, to try and soothe how unwell he was. Of course he did. It doesn't make him a drug addict, guys. It just means he was unwell. So please look up these different things that was wrong with Elvis, because it really changes how you see things. Elvis wasn't fat and binging on burgers. It's just a big lie, guys. It's just not. All right, I'm back. Okay. Is it still working? I think it's back on, I think. Sorry, guys, the signal on this walk is not great. So here I am defending Elvis. Elvis was not a druggie. He was not a fat person. Elvis was a beautiful man that most of his life was slim and looked really well, that just worked extremely hard to pay the bills. Some say sometimes he would have as many as 300 people working for him. Elvis didn't just want to look after himself. He wanted to look after friends and family and friends of friends and complete strangers. There was a lot of people relied on Elvis. So Elvis had to do these tours. He had to do them. Even the day after he died, he was all ready to leave the next tour. And Elvis had to work to keep the money coming in so he could pay for everyone. So we're going to stick up for Elvis, guys. We're going to do what we can to defend him. We are going to search for the truth. And we're going to try and get the correct image out there, because the image that is portrayed about Elvis is so unfair. It is so unfair. Why does Elvis... He doesn't deserve to be portrayed like this. He doesn't deserve it. He did so much good. He lived a great life. Yes, so what? He was a bit unfaithful in the early 60s. But he wasn't married in the early 60s. He wasn't ready to get married. And unfortunately, when he did take the plunge to get married, unfortunately, within a year of getting married, Priscilla had been unfaithful with the dance instructor. That's the truth of it. Within months of Lisa Marie being born in 1968, only a year after the marriage that Elvis, I think, was pressured into doing, Priscilla has been unfaithful. That's the truth of it. Priscilla was unfaithful. The baby's born. She's been unfaithful within months of the baby being born. No wonder Elvis didn't want to sleep with her. Why would anyone... My arm is killing me today. Why would anyone sleep with a woman that has been unfaithful months after their baby was born, a year after the marriage? This is the truth, guys. This is what's happened. Elvis has been portrayed around the world like he was very unfaithful to Priscilla. Now, in the early years, the early 60s, when they weren't properly together, yes, we know that he had affairs with different co-stars, especially Anne Margaret. We know about Anne Margaret. It's all right, my hair's a mess in this wind. I need a hairbrush, guys. My point is, Elvis has been portrayed as this very unfaithful person, but the truth is, in 68, a year after the wedding, it was Priscilla that was unfaithful. And then Elvis did try and fix things. Elvis did try and make amends. Going on holiday with Priscilla. But then what happens? By 1971, Priscilla is being unfaithful again with Mike Stone. Now remember, Priscilla has admitted being unfaithful with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, and with Mike Stone. So I'm not just making this up, guys. So then Elvis has to deal with the fact that his wife, who he'd only been married to for 1 year and just had a baby with, has then moved on to a different person in 1971, and she's seeing him secretly for a year, and eventually in 1972 she plucks up the courage to leave him. This is what Elvis is going through, but he's the one that's portrayed as the bad guy. Elvis is the bad guy. That's what's unfair here, and the public have fallen for it. The public have fallen for the fact that Elvis did all the wrong and Priscilla was the innocent victim. This is so unfair and so far from the truth. And then Priscilla parades with Mike Stone. She parades her new boyfriend as they're leading up to the final divorce in 1973. And then she's making some very serious demands for money in 1973. And then she does it all again in 1977. They're still arguing over money, where eventually they put a lien, a charge, a deed of trust on the Graceland building. So she more or less becomes part owner because she's got a lien, a deed of trust on that building, because she feels that she's owed money by Elvis and she's making sure that she gets her money. Elvis it's almost like he's handcuffed. He's having to work to pay this massive divorce settlement that he cannot afford. And this is the year that he died, when he's very unwell with these very serious medical conditions, very serious. And she's demanding, I want money, I want money. But then she's getting interviewed only a few years later saying Elvis was the love of my life. Can you see how unfair this is? Can you see how unfair Elvis is being treated? This is so wrong on so many levels, guys. And we got to stick up for Elvis. We got to defend him, because it ain't right. Priscilla, is being made out that she did no wrong and that Elvis was the bad guy. And it's not the truth. It is not the truth. Now, how are we going to get the truth out? We get the truth out by telling the world through our comments on YouTube and through all social media, commenting, millions of comments all over the world, defending Elvis, trying to get the truth out there, disagreeing with the things that were written in books and in documentaries and biographies that have painted Elvis out to be this very bad person, which is so wrong. This God-fearing Christian man who had a beautiful upbringing in Mississippi Tupelo with his parents, who dearly loved his parents and dearly cared for any friends and family. This man who spent his whole life giving to charity and helping anyone that he could. This poor man who did everything he could for Priscilla. He literally did everything he could for Priscilla. And in the end, he was painted out to be the bad guy, the adulterer, the druggie, the fat person. It's so cruel and so unfair. And guys, together we are going to defend Elvis. We are going to defend Elvis. No matter what, we are going to search for the truth, and we're going to get to the truth. And bit by bit, we're going to break down all these misconceptions about Elvis, and we're going to stick up for him and defend him as best as we can. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. It's just a quick walk with the dogs. Thank you. Take care, guys.